Morning all of you. So welcome back in class 7 science, and we are studying chapter 4, that is heat. And today we are going to take a topic, transfer of heat. So students, what is the meaning of transfer of heat? So we can say that the flow of heat from a body at higher temperature to another body or to another part of the same body at lower temperature is called transfer of heat. Because we know that when hot tea in a cup is poured into a saucer, it is observed that saucer gets warmer and the tea a little colder. So the hot tea transfers some of its heat to the saucer and cools down, while the saucer gains some heat and gets warmer. So we can say that the flow of heat from a body at a higher temperature to another body, or we can say to another part of the same body at lower temperature, is called transfer of heat. So now we will go through the textbook. Transfer of heat. You might have observed that a frying pan becomes hot when kept on a flame. It is because the heat passes from the flame to the utensil. When the pan is removed from the fire, it slowly cools down. Why does it cools down? The heat is transferred from the pan to surroundings. So you can understand that in both cases the heat flows from a hotter object to colder object. In fact, in all cases heat flows from a hotter object to a colder object. Now how does heat flow? Let us investigate. So we will perform one activity that is given as a activity 4.6. So students, you have observed that how heat is transferring from hotter object to colder object. So we can say that the heat flows from the higher temperature of the body to the lower temperature of the body is called transfer of heat. Now we will perform one activity. Take a rod and flat strip of a metal. We have to take a rod or a flat strip of a metal, say of aluminium or iron. Fix a few small wax pieces on the rod. These pieces should be at nearly equal distances, as you can observe in figure 4.7. Clamp the rod to a stand. If you don't find a stand, you can put one end of the rod in between bricks, as you can see in the figure 4.7, and put one end of the rod in between the bricks. Now heat the other end of the rod and observe. What happens to the wax pieces? Do these pieces begin to fall? Which piece falls at first? And do you think that heat is transferred from the end nearest to the flame to the other end? So you will observe that the process by which heat is transferred from hotter end to colder end of an object is known as conduction. So students, now we will study about the three methods of heat transferring. So first is conduction. What is conduction? We have done one activity and we can see that how heat is transferred. So we can say, what is conduction? The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. When you heat one end of we can say, suppose we will take another example of a steel spoon. Okay, so when you heat one end of a steel spoon by keeping it over a burner, you find that its other end also becomes hot after some time. So in this case we can say that heat is transferred from the hot end of the spoon to its cold end by the conduction. So what is conduction? Conduction is the process of transfer of heat in a body from the hotter end to the colder end without any actual movement of the molecules of material. Okay, so this is the process of conduction. And what conditions are required for the conduction of heat? In solids, generally the heat is transferred by the process of conduction. So we can say that the conduction required, we can say the conditions required for the conduction of heat are, heat can be conducted from one body to another body when they are in contact with each other and at different temperature, because we know that through conduction process the transfer of heat is done by from the hotter body, or we can say hotter end, to the colder end. So the conditions that are required for the conduction of heat are that they can be in contact with each other and at the different temperature. Do all substances conduct heat easily? You must have observed that the metallic pan for cooking has a plastic or wooden handle. Can you lift a hot pan by holding it from the handle without getting hurt? So we will perform the another activity and we will come to the result that all the metals, or we can say that all the materials are having the transfer of heat or not. So there is another activity, activity 4.7. By this activity we will get the conclusion that some materials are the good conductor of heat and some materials are bad conductor of heat. Heat water in a small pan or a beaker. Collect some articles such as steel spoon, plastic scale, pencil, divider. Dip one end of each of these articles in the hot water as given in 4.8 figure. Wait for a few minutes, touch the other end, enter your observation in table 4.3. So you will observe that some kind of metal like a steel spoon can transfer the heat easily instead of we can say the plastic scale. So we can say that some materials which allow heat to pass through them easily are conductors of heat. For example, aluminium, iron and copper. And the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are poor conductors of heat, such as plastic and wood. So poor conductors are known as insulators. The water and air are poor conductors of heat. Then how does the heat transfer take place in these substances? Let us find out, because we know that in solid generally heat is transferred by the process of conduction. So students, now you know that which material is a good conductor and which material is a bad conductor of heat. So we can say that the material which allow heat to pass through them easily are known as a good conductor. For example, aluminium, iron and copper. And the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are poor conductors of heat, such as plastic and wood. That's why the handle of the cooking pan are made up of wood, or we can say plastic. So this is all about the conduction process, and we know that metals are the good conductor of heat and comparatively plastic and wood are the bad conductor of heat. So today we will do this much only. So thank you everyone and have a nice day.